Hello and welcome to another episode of Remember the Hyphen. I thought I'd do it like Matt Pat.
Yes.
I'm Zongetsu134.
I'm Average Jones Squad.
And as always, we look at movies, comic books, and everything in between. And today, we're looking at covers. So, I think as much as anyone loves a good movie, you know what someone loves more?
The artwork.
The artwork. Because let's be honest. You're walking down the aisle, seeing your video or DVD or Betamax or Laserdisc, whatever, your preferred format.
And for a wire. Super 8.
Or I guess, if you're living in the 1910s, and you come across a cover, and you see the video, and you have no idea what it is, but that cover catches your eye, and you have to pick it up. So, let's just talk about our favorite ones.
I was like, if you want to go first, you're already holding one.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the earliest Mighty Morphin Power Rangers VHSs. As you can tell, it's pretty beat up because this is very well loved. Actually, I wonder if there's...
Oh, no, I'm holding it.
No, to be fair, I took very good care of my VHSs, but...
Yeah, keep talking.
Basically, for the first 5 videos they did these covers where they have, like, the Ranger morphing with, like, the Zord, like, their Zord next to it, and, like, morphing into, like, the actual Power Ranger, and the Power Ranger on the front fighting a monster, in this case, Pudgy Pig, which, to be fair, I don't know why I love Pudgy Pig so much, but, like, I just love the artwork for these just because they honestly look pretty good. Like, this is probably one of the few, like, early 90s Power Rangers material that doesn't have the Rangers having, like, stupid big muscles. Like, have you ever seen, like, a Power Rangers Halloween costume where they give extra muscle?
I'll raise you one better. I've seen early 90s Kenner Star Wars action figures.
Yeah.
Luke looked like he was on fucking steroids. Looked like he was all jacked.
But, like, I love these old covers because they almost look like movie covers. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like, granted, they're very basic because you've got, like, Billy fighting Pudgy Pig and, like, the Triceratops Zord. But, like, this just looks great to me. I wish I had more. This is sadly the only one I owned. Because, when I was much younger, we didn't have the money to, like, always get all these. But, like, this holds a special place in my heart just because I love the art of it. You'd also love the ads in it because it's all Power Ranger toy ads. It's hilarious.
Oh, so it's kind of like I used to watch, because I'm on my Batman Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero tapes. They used to have those Kenner ads,
Yeah.
Batman in the mountains.
Batman in the mountains.
I'm like, what's he doing in the mountains? You're giving me no context, but okay.
Batman with his thermal outfit fights Mr. Freeze.
Well, the best part was I had all those figures.
No, I had a lot of them too.
I used to, at that point when I was into it, I was getting them on clearance.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Yeah, I'll go next. This is technically somewhat cheating because I have to do this using the CDs rather than the DVDs or the VHSs because I don't have the whole set. But it's the Beatles anthology, and the reason I love this cover, if you'll hold up one thing, is if you put them together, they form a mural.
Yeah, I actually think that's really neat. I love when stuff does like this. I should have brought some of my Dragon Ball Z VHSs, but I don't have a lot of them that are complete. They do like that, but on the side. They make, like, a picture from the arc.
Well, and just, to me, like, these covers, they have just basically, it spans the entire Beatles history, because, like, the first one has, just stuff of them from when they were in Liverpool and in Hamburg and just the early years, and everything's just ripped, like, it's appearing like it's, like, been plastered over a wall, and they've just kept putting stuff on it. And then with the second one, you have the Shea Stadium cover, The Hard Day's Night, with the Beatles, Rubber Soul, Help. And then when you get to the third one, you have, Sgt. Pepper's in there, Yellow Submarine, Abbey Road, Let It Be, Revolver. So it's just kind of, it's such a nice art piece. And it just kind of really goes with just everything Beatles. I mean, right down to the CDs being Apple.
Yeah, that is kind of a shame that, like, because, like, DVDs just don't do it like that anymore, where they do stuff like that. A lot of DVDs, it's just, like,
well, even the anthology one. I mean, I give the anthology set a lot of credit. The VHS was the same way. You would put them together. You would put them side by side, and it would make the mural. With the DVD, because of just everything being slimmer, they actually have it that the first cover is the front, then the DVD spines are the second one, and then the back is the third one.
Yeah.
Which so that way it still makes the mural, but it's just it's a little bit different.
Like I just miss because like DVDs just don't do cool stuff like that anymore. Like like I liked early DVDs where like they would have like really neat art inside the cover too.
Yeah, which I think you probably have a couple of those.
Yeah. I actually really my Rocko's Modern Life Complete series set actually has like. It goes into like there's a picture behind it that looks like Rocco's house, and like you see all the characters from like the various seasons, the various episodes. It was really cool. Yeah. So I guess we'll talk one that's actually
you and I both have.
Let's do together since we might as well talk about
we both have because I have that same DVD as well.
Of course, Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker and Batman: Mask of Phantasm. Now, a real aside, real quick. This poster is actually as we'll talk about a little bit more because we have a couple more of these. Was drawn by Drew Struzan, who is a poster guy, and his art is some of the most amazing art in movie poster stuff, and so they got used a lot for VHSs and stuff, and like look at this picture of Batman, and the Phantasm, and not only that, like you can see Batman's like cowl outlined in the sky using the Phantasm's head.
Yeah, I remember as a kid thinking, man, this cover was just completely badass.
Yeah,
and
then
you got the back, because this was the same on the tape, with just that classic shot of just the shadows and the eyepieces.
Yeah, because props to the animated series, they always made Batman look cool. One of my and they always did that kind of thing too. Like, you remember the episode Almost Got Him where they're playing poker, and after Killer Croc knocks the Joker off the table. And the light's swinging back and forth, and every time the light goes off him, the shadows reveal that it's actually Batman under there.
Yeah,
like I love that. I loved when the animated series did that. I like when cartoons do that in general with playing with like art and such.
Yeah, and now with Return of the Joker, this is my original VHS copy from when I was a kid. This is the
uncut version.
Yeah, this is the censored one. I also have the uncut one. Like I have the DVD.
Oh, no, I know.
I know. I also have the uncut one. I have it on Blu-ray because it's in the Batman Beyond Complete Series set, but. It's just kind of interesting to have both versions, especially because this is actually the rare version now.
Like, I think we talked about this, but
they've never. I don't think they've ever re-released the.
No, sadly, I don't think they have.
At least on the Blu-ray era, they've never re-released the censored cut. Which, I mean, there's not that much different about it, and it's just kind of interesting, if only for historical, significance. But
and I think this one has. I have a different version of this, I think, somewhere with a different art on the front, and like it's like all red. It looks really cool. I wish I had found it, but like to be fair, I had this for a long time.
Yeah, this is the one I've always seen. I've actually never seen that cover. Like I said, this is the one I've always seen out and about.
I'm thinking of something different, but I could have sworn I had a different because I have like 7 versions of this. Flying around.
It's such a good movie. I mean, it's kind of like when you and I are out and about and we find the censored cut. We usually at least try to get it just because. It's getting harder to find them. Because
I do believe I have the censor cut. It's in with a Blu-ray someone got me for Christmas because they knew how much I loved It was a double feature with Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker and Mystery of the Batwoman, and I'm like, this is great. I already have this already. This is like the third copy I own.
Then you like watched it and it's like, oh, this is the censored cut.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that worked out. I got the censored cut. Kick ass.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman, I have another one over here.
Oh, yeah. This is a classic.
Excuse the price tag on it, but yeah, this Batman 89.
And it's so funny how simple the cover is. It literally is just the logo.
You want to come out of this? Oh my God, I forgot this has the FBI warning.
Yeah.
Directly on the tape. Because that was back in the day.
That's a later. I want to say like the actual '80s release of that because of the logo.
Yeah.
Because I can tell what
hi-fi digitally processed.
Yeah, because I can tell what era Warner Brothers. Because Warner Brothers actually had a lot of different logos. It wasn't like say Disney or like some of the other where they've had like the same logo for decades.
Yeah, because everything on it says 89. So.
Yeah, I would.
There's no text on the back really at all.
Yeah, no, it's almost like a poster in itself on the back, or like an ad.
That probably is an original release.
Yeah.
So if you want to do another one,
okay, yeah.
Just kind of trade it off.
Forgive me for being this release, but the Back to the Future DVD set that collects all 3. Sadly, I don't have like the separate ones. I just have this version. But like you can tell by the classic, Marty and Doc getting out of the DeLorean and them checking the time, what year it is and such. But yeah, sadly I don't have the separate releases, but I like that. One of the reasons I always loved Back to the Future was just the cover. It was probably what drew, because
even when I was a kid,
Yeah.
because I never watched this as a kid, I knew that cover.
yeah.
Well, excuse me, it's become such an iconic piece of just movie art.
Well, that just
I mean, that Back to the Future game we saw
Yeah.
at work. I mean, it has that.
not just that, like the logo, the way they draw the logo is just one of the
Perfection.
it's iconic.
So this is honestly one of my favorite movies, and I don't think I've shown you the art from this yet.
I'm pretty familiar with it because I've
yeah.
seen the poster before.
That's Apocalypse Now. Just everything about this poster is just completely
it's
like atmospheric,
Yeah.
like, and then you look at the back, and it just kind of looks like you rarely know it's Vietnam that this
Yeah.
takes place in. And I think this is obviously a more modern release. I ended up buying this for like 49 cents at a store.
Wait,
Just
is that-
because I looked at it, I was like, wow, that is in great shape. I should pick that
Actually,
up.
I think it. Oh no, I thought because I saw the France. I thought this might have been like the itinerary, the Aderon collection or whatever.
No, I think this is just the normal Paramount
'Cause-
release, but like just the red, and it's not picking up very well on here, but like the
Yeah.
red's very vibrant. They kind of use red all over the place. It's got the Do Long Bridge scene at the bottom. You got Kurtz, and then up here you got Willard with the red sun and the helicopters. Like when I think Vietnam movies, this is like probably the most iconic one
Yeah,
besides
definitely.
the other one I have in my pile over
Oh,
here.
totally.
But and like, I remember seeing this as a kid. I didn't rent this until I was an adult, but I always remember seeing this cover and being like, "Man, that looks crazy." Like,
No.
what is that movie about?
I guess we'll move on because I only got a couple left. But
Yeah, I feel bad. I picked out a lot.
no worries.
I had a lot picked out.
You've got
for
some
this.
stuff in here I can talk about too. So again, this is more of a TV show, but like they review
counts.
they do bad movies,
I almost grabbed Wonder Woman 74. So
and I love these because thanks to the release of these, they only can release so many because they don't have the rights to release all of them. Like for example, their Godzilla ones they can't do because less because of Toho and more because like there's all these different companies that owns the different Godzilla movies.
copyright laws, basically.
Yeah. But it's of course Mystery Science Theater. I love these gag like old school B movie covers they do because they always have Crow and Tom Servo on the front. But it's so fun seeing these because like it always tells you what you're in for. And fun fact, I think if I remember correctly, this actually has Adam West in it.
Really?
It's hilarious. I don't think this is this one. Is it? No, it doesn't tell me if it's got Adam West in it or not. But this is Zombie Nightmare, and admittedly this is one of the weaker ones in my collection because, like, and I'm not saying Mystery Science Theater is bad. It's just depending on the movie, sometimes their riffing just isn't going to be able to make the movie funny. Like there's a movie they did called The Castle of Fu Manchu. It is one of the most boring pieces of shit I ever sat through. It is so boring, not even they could make it funny.
Kind of like me with the Wild One, and I guarantee I'll get some flack for that from somebody because I'm sorry, that movie was absolutely boring.
There's a movie I let you borrow because that I want to do for Halloween, and it's called The Astro Zombies. But long story short, that movie has a 20-minute scene of a dude taking apart and putting back together a computer in full detail. But
It's the shittiest gaming PC build I've ever watched.
yeah, but I love these covers just because like all my box sets actually come with these, and not only that, they come with little mini posters that have like these little artworks. They're all really good, like Danger Death Ray or the strange case of the mixed up teenagers who died and became mixed up zombies, which yes is a real title.
No, I know that's a real title.
But like I love these. These are great.
To kind of keep up with the Vietnam theme, this is another one of my favorite movies, and this is Platoon, starring Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, and Tom Berenger, and there's a lot of variations on this. This is obviously the Blu-ray release. They've kind of updated the artwork because I've seen it where it's just El Elias doing the fame hands up in the air as he's dying.
The pizza rolls are done.
But I thought I had a DVD copy here for a minute, but yeah, forever since I looked at this Blu-ray. But yeah, this is like honestly one of my favorite Vietnam movies. It's made by Oliver Stone, and while it's not totally 100% accurate, I mean it's really just more about the atmosphere. You know, this was the '86 movie of the year, and this actually had been written because I watched his Joe Rogan episode that he was on because he recently wrote a book, Oliver Stone, and he talked about this. He had written the script for this in '76, and the movie didn't come out until '86. He shopped it around, because. He shopped it around because, at this point in the decade, you had The Deer Hunter and Apocalypse Now, and then, First Blood was pretty close to coming out, like 80, I think it's like 80, 81, pretty damn close.
Because that was kind of around the time Vietnam was.
Yeah, because Oliver Stone actually fought in Vietnam. He did a couple tours there, so he obviously had been there. So he wrote the movie just kind of based on his experiences and everything.
Oh, so you think he actually killed one of his commanding officers? Because
no, he didn't do that. If I remember correctly, he said he didn't do that, but he knows that happened. Like he knew people that happened to. But yeah, and so he talked about it, and he started shopping it around. He actually got told by the studios it's too real. It'll never sell. Yeah. Like this is too real. People don't want to watch that. No. And then '86 came out, and I mean. This was a smash hit, basically. Yeah. Well, I mean, it really kind of kicked off Tom Berenger's career, and same with Charlie Sheen, Because I actually would argue this is probably Charlie Sheen's most serious role that he's ever been in.
It's probably certainly one of his better roles, because during the 80s, he had it was really weird, because I think he did this... Wall Street, and that movie
was Wall Street the 80s, or was that the 1990s?
No, it was the 80s. There was also that movie he did where he was a baseball player, which I know is one of his better movies.
Yeah, I know what one you're talking about. Because isn't Emilio in that too? Yeah. Yeah. And fun fact about this movie, I always like to tell people, Johnny Depp is in this.
Oh, I always forget he's in this.
Yeah, he's in this movie very, very briefly. He actually gets wounded during one of the battles, and there's this great story about that's in the commentary / behind the scenes where he talks about it was actually raining because they filmed this in the Philippines.
Gotcha.
Because they went to the Philippines because I can't remember if it's this movie or if it's Apocalypse where that's Apocalypse where they were filming with the helicopters and they were actually military helicopters, so there was a civil war going on, so they every now and then they'd be filming stuff and the helicopters would leave because they were needed to go fight the rebels. But anyway, with this movie they were filming the scene where Johnny Depp was wounded and it's raining, and they got the camera on him, and Oliver Stone kept making him do take after take of it. He'd be like, not fucking believable enough. Poor Johnny Depp is just drowning, basically.
Yeah, no, that Stone was much like
he's a perfectionist.
He's like, if it doesn't look right, we do it again.
Yeah, and I actually would argue that's probably Oliver Stone's best movie.
Yeah, because he did Wall Street too, didn't he?
I don't think. Maybe
I'm thinking of something else. I think
he also did
Well, I know he did a lot of Charlie Sheen.
JFK and the one about South America, El Salvador.
Okay.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to say
about the Salvador Civil War, which I can't. Joe Rogan. He actually says he hung out with drug dealers during that to get it right. If you want to move on, we've kind of gushed about Platoon for a minute.
This is kind of a gag, but I always enjoy the Ernest DVDs movies, and this is probably one of my favorite ones. Ernest Goes to Jail. I think Cinemassacre talked about this on Cinemassacre Rentals. Like this is probably the best one just because of how ridiculous and over the top it is.
I thought the best one was Ernest Eats Ass.
That's the best one that doesn't actually exist.
That's a meme. Look that up. That's funny as shit.
Because
the first time you sent me that, I was dying.
Because if they could, and if
they would have done that
as
a
Barney,
fucking
rest
joke.
in peace, was still alive, he would have kept making these. Because he loved doing these, but I love the covers of these because they're all really eye catching.
They're just kind of iconic.
Yeah, say what you will about the Ernest movies, whether you like them or not. When you see the cover, you know instantly what it is and what it's about. But this is probably my favorite aside from Scared Stupid in terms of the box art. I just love Ernest. Burt tried to dig his way out, and the dumbass that he has probably ended up gigging right back into the prison. And the guy's like,
"Are you for fucking real right now?"
Ernest. Fun fact about Jim Varney: a lot of people don't know. he was actually Shakespeareanly trained.
Really?
Yeah, they actually did a news story about him because of like him getting popular. And Varney even was like, because like he was talking about his experience with Ernest. He's like he's somebody that everybody knows. He's that guy that like thinks of himself as like a repairman, but he's actually a bumbling idiot. And at the end, he actually does like Hamlet's soliloquy, and at the very end, he goes, "Know what I mean?" No, he was actually a very classically trained actor.
Yeah, so this is another iconic cover.
Oh, and to be fair, all the Bond
all the Bond ones are, but this is just the one I picked. This is Goldeneye because this is my favorite one.
Yeah.
This case has kind of seen a little better days.
Yeah.
But, I mean it. Because I think this is an original release as well.
Yeah,
this is from '95.
Because that's the later MGM release.
Yeah, but just this cover, man. Like look at this, man. This looks
Yeah,
awesome.
no, and of course you got the picture of him with what Bond? What is the name of the Bond girl that's the actual good guy? I forget her name.
I'll tell you in a second.
Because I know he bangs a
My
couple.
God, it doesn't even list her. It just lists Sean Bean and Famke Jensen in it.
Yeah, which the basically the computer hacker that he helps, because I know she has a name, but I don't remember her nearly as much as Anya.
I'm awful with Russian names, so
But
which is kind of weird because I took a Russian history
but
class.
it's got the picture of the two of them in the. I was like the two of them on the back after they just got down from the usual Bond and stuff.
Got Sean Bean up at the top.
But, like I love that because like it's hilarious because like he's like it's only got the blanket up to his like waist but like she's like wrapped in it. I'm like, what blanket are you fucking wrapped up in? Because like
What's going on?
like I know that's a weird thing to argue about, but like I love the way they try to hide that like these two people had just got done having sex. So like the chick will be like wrapped.
The
like,
movie's rated. It's only rated PG-13. Thought it was rated R for a minute.
But well, no, Bond never was rated R.
Imagine if it was. Holy shit! It'd be like watching softcore porn at some point.
I want to say up until like the 80s, Bond was PG.
Well, that's because the rating system was whack back then. I mean,
what I mean was like, cause like I want to say
that's
up
rated
until,
R. Batman '89 is PG-13.
Yeah, because PG-13 didn't become, because PG-13 did exist. It was just like R for a long time. People didn't, or it was basically like a death knell for your film. Like people wouldn't want to go see a PG-13 film because they're like, it's got the devil's kissing in it, as some of the Bible belts like to call sex. But let's move on to the Blade Runner one because
and I regret that this is not the original cover for this. This is the 30th anniversary edition, but I mean it's basically, I'm pretty sure this is the director's cut.
Well, then that's still the Drew Struzan poster that another Drew Struzan, like his art is always really great because he did watercolors and such.
I wish I could find my original DVD issue of this because it has the normal one. I consider that more iconic than this, but I mean this is a great cover still.
And apologies if I'm getting the Drew Struzan thing wrong because there's another artist that does his style in the poster art world. Like that's not me trying to be rude to him. Just I can't tell the exact difference between the two.
Yeah.
But
and then it's also continued on the disc.
But I mean, Blade Runner's good and all, but it's not nearly as good as Blade Runner 2049.
Fuck you! I still haven't seen that. I don't want to.
No, I agree.
Yeah. This is another one of my favorite movies. And they actually just re-released this with different artwork, and I'm not a fan of the new artwork.
I can tell.
But this is the original. This is Days of Thunder. Probably one of the only Tom Cruise movies I actually like, just because it's NASCAR.
Oh, you're telling me you don't like all the Mission Impossible films, or he's...
No, I don't fucking like Mission Impossible. The only good thing about Mission Impossible is the one with the Limp Bizkit theme music.
To be fair, I just can't get into Mission Impossible like I can get into Bond.
Yeah, I just can't either, but...
I mean, granted, like, I give the Mission Impossible movies credit because they kind of are why the 90s Bond films have the flair that they do.
Yeah.
It's certainly better than how they constantly try to ape Jason Bourne now, because, like, I'm so tired of the...
Yeah, Jason Bourne's not even that good.
No, especially because, like, he's not relevant anymore.
And nothing's relevant about Bourne, but... Sorry there's not much to say about that. I mean, it's a racing movie.
Yeah.
It's Top Gun with NASCAR.
I mean, to be fair, I like the colors they use for that to kind of give it like a speed line feel.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and of course this, and I just noticed on the back. This also includes the theatrical and the 2003 director's
Oh,
cut
really?
on it. It's on both. Like it has
Nice.
both versions. But
That's good.
Blu-ray poster for Alien because this I argue is just as iconic as the normal one with the egg. But I also like how I noticed this just now in the back. On Blu-ray, everyone will hear you scream.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and then there's the disc with the Xeno on it. And
because like I think a lot of people forget that the whole "in space no one can hear you scream" came from the original Alien poster.
Yeah,
because like that's just such a classic line that But no, I the egg is really cool. But like I love whenever they put the Xeno on the front.
yeah.
Because the Xeno looks...
Well, and this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Alien Resurrection ones, which I could have grabbed, but I didn't. Just because we've already kind of covered how much I love the Resurrection cover. Also, this apparently has the isolated score on it, as well as deleted and extended scenes.
When you say isolated scores, is it just...
I think it's literally just you can listen to the score on it.
Really? That's actually
We'll have to
cool.
pop this in when we're done and check that out. Because I don't think I've ever sat through that. I've watched this. I've watched both cuts of this, but
that's actually really neat.
Yeah, this one's iconic. This tape is beat to shit.
Yeah, I can tell.
This is the only one I could find of it. Except I have like 30 fucking copies of this movie, but
this is pretty old because I think modern releases of this they have the actual movie poster instead of the where they got everybody on it.
Which actually reminds me, hold on, I know where another version of that is.
But I just waited to know. Like this is probably one of the most iconic covers for sci-fi in general, aside from like Blade Runner or Metropolis or Star Trek films, because I've seen so many anime and cartoons mimic this poster with like a character. Actually, I wish I still had the cover, but Transformers the '85 film. Its poster is a clear parody of this, especially with, well, depending on which version. I think Hot Rod on the regular cover actually is holding the Matrix, but it varies from person to person. But, this picture of Leia, with the gun standing next to Luke, with Luke holding the lightsaber up, and the light coming off it, you can't get more iconic than this, in my opinion. And I know we've said iconic a lot in this, like we're talking about, like, sports.
So I can't find the original stereo tape of it I have, but I did find my box set.
Nice.
That I think I mentioned in the VHS episode that I have, and I have the silver version of this too, because these are the special editions.
Yeah.
So, which I thought maybe had the same artwork for 4 on it, but it doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, they don't got they've got the scene with Jabba, but they put Jabba in instead of having him being a Scotsman. That's
oh my god, yeah, the OG, which I referenced to him the other day. That shit. Oh, it's so fucking funny.
I'm kind of glad they made Jabba a giant slug because my god.
Have you ever seen the footage of that?
No, I've seen the footage and it just
because there's a YouTube video. I think it's still up. That they actually patched all the available footage of it together to actually make it a complete scene now, and the quality varies from frame to frame.
But that's up there with my other favorite thing is listening to scenes of Darth Vader where they haven't dubbed James Earl Jones in.
Yeah, so it's just Prowls just.
Yeah, so you can hear the 7 foot tall German just being a goofball.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna hold these two up, just together because they basically go together. And sadly, this is the trilogy I can't ever complete on VHS unless I import the shit.
But because unfortunately, Spider-Man was only on VHS for the first 2 because the last film, of course, was in 2008, and by that point...
Yeah, by then they were only doing it VHS for kids' movies, but these covers, and I'm glad that I have the version with the infamous bonus featuring the video for Hero on it.
Oh yeah, we were watching this the day we did the Long Halloween special.
Oh yeah, because we actually watched the trailers for this.
Which, as an aside, did you see on Facebook? I posted that they're finally going to make a Long Halloween animated.
Yes, I did actually. I'm actually excited for that.
I only say that because we're probably gonna have to do it because Long Halloween was one of our more popular reviews.
But like I said, I love how just like this to me this is like what I think of when I think of this movie. I know the DVD and Blu-ray have different covers now, but this is what I think of when I think of this movie. And I mean, it's a little different with 2 because 2 has the same artwork pretty consistently.
Yeah. Which is, I find it always weird that one gets the more consistent, but like the first one doesn't.
Yeah, which apparently I never rewound this one either. Or, I don't think I've ever watched this on tape because I had when this came out. This was actually the first. This was actually the first DVD I ever bought.
I think it was one of the first DVDs I ever got.
I still have. I actually almost ended up buying this on DVD again the other day because I found one with a slip sleeve on it, which I was like, mine doesn't have the sleeve. But
sadly, I think my first DVD ever was Die Another Day.
That movie's not nearly as bad as it makes it out to be. But
no, but
one of these days we're gonna have to do Bond. We're just gonna have to do a retrospective. But yeah, like I said, when I think Spider-Man 1 and 2, those are the covers I think of. Just because, I mean, it's just right up there with like the red spine.
Yeah, the red spine.
The infamous artwork of the Goblin and the lens piece, which I actually think I had this as a poster.
Which I think they actually kept doing the lens piece thing too, because he's
yeah, because you can see
Ock in his lens piece there. I want to say
no, because with 3, with 3 it was the mirrored thing.
Oh, let me be fair. That shot of regular Spidey with symbiote Spidey in the mirror was
which I actually have a poster of that because I love that poster to death.
Like I make a lot of cracks about the black suit for 3, but that's still an amazing looking cover.
And then like even the back of this tape, like just with the infamous upside down kiss on it, and again like I always love when these movies like because this was brand new. There's no text on the back. There's no description text on the back of this. It's just you get the covers.
Yeah. Because for the longest time, this is actually the only version I had of Spider-Man as well.
I saw you had the same version of it that I had.
Yeah. No. Because
again, for the longest time as well, this was the only version that I had. I had it on tape.
Well, if you go back to one of the oldest videos on my channel of us doing together, the 4-hour Spider-Man retrospective,
which we need to refilm
we will redo that.
For
but
that's I think we can do that better.
No.
Plus, we can talk about the games this time around, probably.
Well, to be honest, the games could be their own separate video, but
which I'm down for because I have all of them. So,
but like, I never got to see this when it came out in theaters because my mom kept delaying it because she's like, I want to find a time when it'd be good for us to go and when the weather's not bad. We tried to go because she thought it was still in theaters. We get there and it was no longer in theaters. Let me tell you. The anger of 12-year-old me.
Misery.
No, that was how it felt because I was like, Ma, you know how much I love Spider-Man. This is like, because there was never a Spider-Man film until this movie.
Yeah. Which it's funny you mentioned that because this was the one I saw in theaters. I actually saw this at the downtown cinema.
Oh yeah, because right, because as a reverse. You didn't see that one in theater, and I did.
Yeah, I didn't see 2 in theaters. I didn't see 2 till it came out on DVD. Yeah. And then I saw 3 in the theater. Yeah. Which was I think that was like the first movie I saw at Movies at Meadville.
Sadly, I think of the 3 of them, the only one I saw in theaters was 2. But to be fair to 3, when it was coming out, I was like 18. I was like, I don't know if this movie's going to be good enough for me to warrant to go see it.
Yeah. Like that, I remember going to see it in theaters. Yeah. I think... This is gonna sound blasphemous. You ready for this one?
Oh yeah.
I walked out of the theater from seeing Spider-Man 3 and I said I liked it better than Spider-Man 2. I'm not shitting you. When I first saw it, I thought it was a better movie than Spider-Man 2 because I'm like there was more action in it. Obviously now that I'm older and I'm more of a refined intellectual, 2 is the best one.
I mean, to be fair,
although one is still my favorite out of all 3, but 2 is the best one.
To be fair, like at least it was a movie. At least that was a movie that like has the potential to be good.
There's a good movie in there.
It's not like all the people who came out.
It starts out pretty fucking good, and then it goes off the rails for the mid act.
It's not like, say, going into Phantom Menace and coming out saying it was the best Star Wars film of all time.
Yeah,
like back in '99. And I'm not saying that to be rude to people.
The people that camped outside the theater for 3 days.
My favorite being way back when Conan was on NBC. He had the insult the comic dog, the go out and talk to people that were. There was a lady in that line. She was like 7 months pregnant. She was in full Jedi robes, and she was like, "This is gonna my son's gonna see it with me in theaters, and even though he's not born yet, his name's Luke."
That's actually really cute, honestly, though.
It
That's
was,
really,
but
really
at the
cute.
same time, like what I did with Triumph, he was like, so you want to make sure your son never has sex for the rest of his life. Although to be fair,
Like I said, that's actually really
it was
cute.
it was actually really
It's
cute.
very
Like
cute.
but at the same time, I feel bad for that lady. 'Cause, like of all the Star Wars movies she could have went to go see.
She saw episode 1.
And to be fair, that nothing against her because when that movie came out,
Which, like I said, I actually will defend 1. I think 1's better than 2. Because 2 is just fucking terrible.
But, to be fair, if I may, like I vacillate between which one I think is the better of those two, and not because like I absolutely adore one or the other. It's just depending on my mood.
No, I can understand. Like with me, at no point will I ever say 2 is better than 1.
Yeah.
I think out of the prequel 3 is by far the best one.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not
Absolutely.
even a contest. But I don't think 1 is a bad movie. I think
No,
1 is a bad movie. I think 1 is a movie that is good, but it has pacing issues.
That's exactly it. Because
there are parts of that movie where it just fucking drags,
Yeah.
and then during the pod racing stuff, it just grinds to a halt.
well,
and it's
especially because with the pod racing scene, it's literally 9 minutes of the same shot. Like everyone talks about like, well, the pod racing scene is like, because I know people who will defend the pod racing scene to me, and I'm like, it's literally the same shot. It's left to right, left to right. Like, I can't believe that like Lucas got away with that because like literally he doesn't change up any of the shots for the pod racing scene, and it's
yeah. It was more so out of the hype that there was going to be a new Star Wars movie after like 20 years.
like look, because like Chris Stuckman and I like to use this term, the whole Phantom Menacing thing, because like 20 years there had been no Star Wars. Everyone thought it was done, and then they re-released all 3 of the original Star Wars films in theaters because they did do that before they. Because I think that's actually when they released the new editions, basically the original new editions.
Yeah, what I just showed you.
Yeah. And then, because I want to say they didn't actually reveal we were getting new Star Wars films until that, because if you went to go see that, they at the end of the trilogy, they had a trailer for Episode 1, and people were like, "Star Wars is back," and after 20 years of expectations, they needed that film to be good.
Yeah.
So they lied to themselves. We all lied to ourselves that movie was good.
Again, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. It just has pacing issues.
Well, I mean,
my biggest thing with Phantom Menace is the people that think the merch from it is worth anything because everybody got on that hype train.
But we
We need to do a Star Wars retrospective at some point.
You get my like. I'm not saying like it's unbelievably bad, but you get what I mean, right? Like people were trying to say it's as good as like the originals.
That's why I think people lie to themselves and say Inception is a good movie because it's not.
But then the years rolled by after this movie came out, and people were still like, "No, it's really good. It's really good." And then YouTube happened, and people were like, "I want to talk about Star Wars. So let's start with." Instead of let's do all 6 movies, but we're going to start with Episode 1 because canonically that makes sense. They watched it, and at first they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember this," and then you're watching it, and slowly you're like, "This isn't as good as I remember it being," and I think just partially because of just how long it was, like between the movie coming out and people seeing it again, it suddenly had this effect where they're like, "Oh my god, this movie is terrible." Like, just awful, and like that. That's what I mean by Phantom Menacing.
No, I get that. Again, we really need to do a Star Wars retrospective, which we should just do that by trilogy.
Yeah.
So we'll do 2 videos.
Yeah. We'll do the original trilogy first, just because.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the saltiest one of the.
We'll do a release date.
Yeah.
Because release date is best.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna do it for this episode.
Yeah.
We've covered some pretty good stuff. We might do a part 2 to this because there's so many good movie posters.
Yeah.
This was just a sampling of what we both liked and
Yeah.
I could grab offhand.
And
Especially because most of my stuff's boxed up.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, the thing with movie posters I always like is I think it really gets you wanting to talk about a film just because, like, you see the poster and you're like, oh, yeah, I remember this. You know, you talk about it. And I think that's one of the beauties of covers and stuff. Because, like, even if you don't, like, read it yourself... Sorry, I coughed on camera. It makes you remember the feelings you had. And I think that's one of the beauties of covers, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
But anyway, guys, I think that's going to wrap this up. I'm Zangetsu134.
And I'm Average Joe Squad.
And as always, we ask you,
Remember the hyphen, and take care.